Hey everybody, this is Greg Koopman, and today I'm going to show you a video that addresses a problem on creating JSON and sending dynamic JSON to, in this case, a function app. Now, I don't have the function app working properly because the output is giving me an error, but that's not the part of the problem I want to address today, so I'm not going to worry about the red you're seeing on the screen. We're working on the input of a JSON value to the script. Okay, first of all, the JSON value, if we go over the function that I'm working with, I'm going to demonstrate how this is a code. It's like a hello world type thing, and it works fine over here. You have to give it a JSON notation value. Okay, so here's your name, colon, and I have Azure Greg there. Okay, so if I run this, you'll see a result, which will say again, hello Azure Greg, as you see right here. So this function works fine in the app here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work exactly that way inside of Azure Data Factory. And myself, coming from a real strong database background and not as strong in maybe the HTTP area, I have a little bit more difficulty in this area, but I do want to cover this because it is real important. It's a stepping stone, and you all might be running into this problem. Okay, even you HTTP guys might be running into this problem also. So what I'm demonstrating here is that I have a very simple pattern here. I go out and I get 3 files from a Azure storage account, and they're a tennis player name. So it's, well, not really, not completely. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Benny Hill. Benny Hill doesn't play tennis, at least not in very good, especially since he's dead. So anyways, God rest his soul, because he's a great comedian. Anyways, my opinion. Then so anyways, it's going to rotate through all 3 of these. Initially, when I created it, I was just trying to get it to work, and I was passing in a proper JSON value, but in a static way. Okay, so I'm going to show you the static way. So inside my Azure function, I go into settings. I'm just setting it to name, colon, help. Okay, or I could just say the same thing with Azure Greg like I did over in that demonstration at the function app level. Okay. All right. For some reason, it works in the function app, but when you come over here, the output doesn't work. And like I said, I haven't addressed that, but I didn't want to stop me from making the video. So this is a hard-coded static way. So let me just run this. And what you'll see is, of course, you see the errors. But what I want you to see here, it loops through the tennis players. So in this case, we can get a count of 3, but we're not really passing them in dynamically. We're only going to, so you're going to see 3 times this as it goes into the hello world function. You'll see it. So there's a body. Right, that's what we're sending in. That's how it's brought through, and that is correct. So that's but I want you to notice the syntax. So it changes the syntax a little bit as it's moving through this pipeline. So that's correct. So now I'm going to, the difficulty I had was, how do I do this dynamically? Because I want to be able to put in each name of this of these files in here. Okay, so let me show you how I did that, because that syntax was a little bit was quite difficult. So I'm going to go to my Azure demo dynamic. Okay, and here I'm going to change that static setting to dynamic setting. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to have it available. I captured the player's biography file name here, and I apply the concat. Now, I'm very used to doing SSIS when I concatenate things. So you had and SQL Server and that, where you do variable and a plus sign and these these dynamic names and this, and I got very used to that. It worked very nicely. But here they have a little bit different syntax, so it didn't quite make it the way I wanted to. So you can read through this one, but what is, the proof is in the pudding. So what you'll do is run that, and as you see, there is an error. So let's see, the output of the variable primary. Okay, so this must be, I think the error is in the name of the variable. So let me come down here, loop through, outputs variable name is only player name. So I'm just going to say player name, even though it's really a file. I'll leave it a player name. Okay, now the error's gone. We're going to run this now. And we'll run data flow debug. I'm sorry, I'm going to run debug. And if you've been having trouble with, trying to get that JSON to work in a dynamic expression, that's what really the point of this whole video, is that you see that syntax, because it was quite difficult for me to get that right. So as you see, when we go through, there's Roger Federer. It was concatenated properly, came out in a JSON format. It's exactly what we wanted. And same with this one. So there is let's see, let's open this up a little bit more. And there's, I forget where the errors are, right? So error here. So there's a Benny Hill biography text. And then up in here, we have another one, and that was Rafael Nadal biography text. Now what is erroring, and I haven't figured out how to solve this other error, which might be another video, is the response is incorrect. The response content is not valid J object. So that's maybe another video. But if you don't get the input right, you don't have a chance of getting the output right. So here I'm showing you how to get the input right, as everything is in Data Factory. At least once you get past the beginner stage, you got to be able to write dynamic expressions everywhere. Okay, now there's one more way to write this, and let me show you that. Okay, now this is what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write this in a way without using the concat function, right? So I'm going to come back in here, and we're going to write the same, just like if you were writing like first name plus space plus last name. So you can write it like this. Okay, so there's your name with the squigglies on the outside, and then a colon. No pluses, no ampersands, nothing to concatenate that way. You write it just the way it is, and these squigglies help make it so that it will read what's in the properly with the @ signs. So study that. Let's run it just to show that works also. So that's just a different way to write it. Okay. So again, I messed up. It's really player name in this case. Player name and finish. Okay. So let's run that. So now it's running. We will get the error on the output. We know that's coming. I want to show that it does concatenate properly. But again, every character in that concatenation, it's just a little bit odd to me. So that's why I'm expressing it I figure it might be odd to some other people. So I'm just expressing it in this video. So there's my name, Roger Federer biography. And here's another one. Not that one. This one. Hello World. There's Rafael Nadal, and of course the other one's Benny Hill. So there's two ways that you can write that concatenation. Let's just go through a couple more things real quick. If that helps you, then that's fine. You can just forget the rest of the video. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I know that errors don't look good. I apologize again for that. And subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. So okay, so I'm just going to go through this real quick. So here I just do get metadata, and basically I'm going out to an Azure blob container that has 3 files in it, and you set the data set, and the data set really is that goes out to a link server, and you can get all the way down into that one just by continuing to edit in that. So you drill all the way down to a link server, which in this case is here. Storage account is my tennis center daily Dropbox storage account key, and then you test a connection here. So then let's pop back out. If you're kind of new to Data Factory, it's all over the place here with you get a lot of tabs, so you have to know where you're at. So I'm gonna hover over that one, make sure I am on the right one. That's static, so I'm going back over to the dynamic. And so really, once you set the data, you want to set the child items if you're going to go through a set of files in that blob storage. So you need to set this field list to child items. Okay. Then once you get that set, you go to the loop through list of tennis players. This for each. See the for each? To get metadata, that's a for each. And in the for each, then you're going to set your activity, or rather your settings. And there you're going to look back when you'll see this add activity, and that says go back to one of the activities. And each one of these little boxes or objects are activity. This is get metadata activity. That's a for each activity. So in the for each right now, we're saying go and look in the get tennis player biography file names, which is the name of this object activity, and get the output and the child items. And that's what that does. And then it starts looping through that one at a time. So we're going to go into its loop, okay, which is its child area here. And here we'll get the first item, okay. So when we set the variable for player name variable, we're going to go and grab @item name, okay, because it knows that it's with a child within this for each loop that's going on externally. So it just grabs item name, and that would be the player name, okay. And then the next step is it's going to go to this hello world Azure function, and that one has input also, but in this case the input is a body, a JSON body, okay. That's why it was a little bit more difficult to write. The function, you have your function app, and you have the function within that app. Get totally wouldn't work. Post has worked for me before. So that's why we're setting that body in, and as you see, the variable makes it dynamic. And then that's it. So that's an Azure function, and then of course once that's working, you continue on to do other things. When it outputs a value, then you can do more things. So anyways, that's what I wanted to show you here. Okay, one other thing I want to show you about the concatenation function. I just created a few parameters. They're meaningless really, but I just want to show you how this concatenation works with it. So here's first name, middle name, and last name. So let's just go ahead and concatenate all three of these together and form another variable. We'll call the variable full name. And again, this has nothing to do with the other example, but since I'm here, I'm going to just show you how the concatenate works in this arena also. So we'll call it full name, and I'm going to get some space here, so I'm going to get another variable. We're just going to set that variable for full name. So I just drag this guy in, and let me get a little more space here. So I'm going to set this variable called full name. I'll just come in here and say set full name variable, right? Okay, and then I'm going to come in here, and all I'm going to do here is go full name, and now I need the value. So we're going to put in dynamic content here, and so we're going to go over here, and what you do is you say @concat. Unfortunately, Data Factory doesn't have IntelliSense, which is just really bad, to tell you the truth. They need that. I need it, I know that. So let's just go ahead and type in my pipelines. Oops, my pipeline parameter. And then I'm going to say comma. I'm going to say one quote space one quote comma. And then I'm going to say the middle name. And then comma. One quote space one quote comma. And then last name. All right. Not too complicated there. Pretty simple. Just got to remember it's not double quotes, it's single quotes. Everything else is pretty straightforward. You want your @ sign at the beginning here, okay? Not inside of in here with the pipelines, okay? So let's finish there. Okay. So if I did do that, right, if I didn't do it this way and just said if I was just doing one pipeline name, right, it would be, it's just not here. If I just said first name, you see the pipe there? That ampersand, or rather, @ sign, goes at the beginning. So again, if you're going to start doing concat, you got to type in concat, and it will then leave the pipeline. Okay, it will be over this side, so you don't have like extra concats and @ signs in there. I'll cancel that out, leave it as it is. Now we're going to run it. I'll connect it to a. Well, I better connect it down below. And here we go. So it's connected here, so we can take a look at the output once it's run. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and run that. I think I can close that up a little bit. Get some more space. On it. Good. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and debug this again, and this time we're just going to be looking at that full name, and we want it to come out with a concatenated name. We have to do this all the time in our ETL. It's different places, so you want to be able to use that concat function properly. Okay, whether you're using JSON or whether you're using just straight old text. Okay, it's important. So again, we did get our failures. We did know that was coming, but let's just look at what we're looking for, which is that set full name, right, variable. So when it came in, there it is, Gregory Charles Koopman, right? And that's what I sent in each time. So remember, my values over there in parameters was set to Gregory Charles Koopman, so that's not going to change. It's not dynamic here. But it could be in a way. I mean, if you set it to variables and you set your variables. I did want you to show you how that works with the output there. So let's look at the output again. And so for each one of these set full names, of course, it's going to show Gregory Charles Koopman. Go up a little bit, Gregory Charles Koopman, and guess what the third one was? It's Gregory Charles Koopman. I know this is kind of a boring video, and I'm glad you made it all the way to here, but I can tell you, it's when you're coming out of SSIS and you're trying to get these things to work with the expression builder, I found it pretty difficult. So, I found a couple of these examples, and I thought it could help you. I know it helped me once I found them. So, anyways, sorry about these errors here, but just ignore those right now and just focus on what the content I was trying to show you is, because I think it is important, and hopefully it helped you. All right, thanks a lot.